While the media was busy chasing headlines against Donald Trump just dropped a trade deal that might change everything for America. $750 billion in energy, $600 billion in investment, zero tariffs for America. And it's not just Europe, China's next. This could be the biggest economic power shift that we've seen in decades. Stick around because Peter Ducey's about to break it down for us. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and let's get into it.
We got to pick up where the president left off, which is his disappointment in Putin and saying, you know what, the 50 days, I'm going to drop it because I already know his answer, meaning Putin is not willing to play ball. I want to be the president of peace, but he's not being an honest broker.
Yeah, making a lot of news there, also talking about Gaza and a possible ceasefire. The president saying you have to end it. Other nations are going to have to step up. Obviously very willing to talk. They're about to sit down now, obviously, with Starmer, in what will be a very interesting discussion on global relations.
So I don't know if you picked up over the weekend, you have the French saying, I'm recognizing the Palestinian Authority and a Palestinian as a nation. Well, where exactly? The guy you picked up is defiled and diminished and corrupt, spoiled billions from the people. Number two is they want a ceasefire, but the problem is Hamas is a ceasefire. So they have stopped cessation of violence in that area in order to get more aid in. But they've already given enough aid to feed Gaza 15 times. It's not getting to the right people. They're airdropping it too, so the UK doing a lot and Jordan doing a lot. But the people predominantly giving the aid is still the United States. We tried to streamline that situation, but we're still losing 5 IDF fighters a week. So there's still fighting going on there. So Lindsey Graham says over the weekend, you know what? We might have to do this Tokyo-Berlin style. If you're not going to give us the hostages, perhaps the IDF has to just go and get them. And I know there's risks inherent in that, which is why they haven't done anything. But what else are you going to do?
To that point, just what we know from the intelligence from Israel, they have surrounded the remaining hostages with explosives and everything. And so this is why they haven't gone in. And to your point, Brian, the international pressure that has happened that the president's going to have to deal with because he dismissed Macron and said, okay, he's really not, he's a non-factor here. And he hopes that the prime minister of the UK doesn't acknowledge the Palestinian Authority as being a country there.
And we're watching the images of these Palestinians who are starving. It's horrendous.
It is horrendous.
It's horrific. But the people that are responsible is Hamas. It is nobody else.
Yeah, and a reminder, obviously, that all of this is happening with the backdrop of this massive trade deal getting done. Meeting with Starmer, he was asked, the president there just a few moments ago, about the UK-US relations, and he said, Starmer did, that it's unparalleled. And President Trump saying it's only getting stronger with a trade deal like this. $750 billion in U.S. energy purchases. You're talking $600 billion in investments. I mean, this is a massive deal, which is the backdrop of that meeting today.
All right, senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey joins us live outside the White House. Hey, Peter. So we're getting a lot of news there, right?
A ton. Keir Starmer is the third British Prime Minister that President Trump has worked with across his 2 terms. This meeting is finally underway after a little bit of a delay. And you heard it there. We expect them this morning to talk about what to do concerning Russia in Ukraine, what to do concerning Hamas in Gaza, and then, of course, these trade deals. The U.S. and the U.K. already made a trade deal. But it seems like President Trump is also going to be looking for a thank you from Mr. Starmer for the trade deal that he just struck with the UK's neighbors in the EU. And we have the details. This new deal that took 75 minutes behind closed doors for negotiators to come to, in it, the EU is going to purchase $750 billion of U.S. energy. They're going to invest an additional $600 billion in the United States. They will expand purchases of American military equipment. The deal is going to drop the tariffs down to 15% on most European goods, but it's going to have a 0% tariff on American exports.
I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think it's, I'm going to let you say, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made.
We have a trade deal between the 2 largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic.
And on the other side of the Atlantic, a few hundred miles away from where the president is on this working vacation in Scotland, his top trade negotiators are meeting with their Chinese counterparts in Stockholm. If they can bring the temperature down a little bit, it could pave the way in the next couple weeks or months for a Trump and Xi face-to-face, which also means that while White House officials are describing this EU-US trade deal as the biggest ever, it might only be the biggest ever until a potential U.S.-China deal. Back to you.
Quite the setup.
Peter, are you getting the sense that there's a scramble to be the next one? This was the big one, and I know about China. But are there other countries seemingly lining up to bring it across the finish line before August 1st?
Yes, and the biggest giveaway is that we're not seeing united trade embargoes against the U.S.
Yeah.
Countries are not trying to meet President Trump's aggressive trade posture with their own aggressive trade posture. Mm-hmm. They are trying to negotiate to make things as good as they can for themselves, and we'll see. And again, the deadline could slide a little bit. It's slid to like August 12th for the Chinese side to make a deal, which is why we get a sense that things are happening there. But because people are actually trying to play by the rules that President Trump is setting for the global economy, it does seem like there's a big rush to get this done by the end of this week.
That's what real leadership looks like. No endless talk, no empty promises or press briefings, but a $1.3 billion, trillion dollar deal that puts Americans first and makes the rest of the world play by our terms. Trump didn't just negotiate with the EU, he dominated them. And the rest of the world is watching that happen in real time. That's why countries like China are suddenly warming up, not because they want to, but because they have to. This deal drops European tariffs, ramps up U.S. exports, and brings hundreds of billions of energy, revenue, and investment straight to American soil. And here's the best part. It was done quietly. No circus, no drama. While Biden couldn't even find the door to a summit, Trump was behind closed doors locking down the biggest trade wins in modern history. And now there's a line forming. Countries are scrambling to get their own deal in before Trump sets the terms even higher because they know it's coming. The Trump economy is back, and it's not playing nice this time. This isn't about being liked, it's about being respected. And today proved that Trump's still the most feared negotiator on the planet, the most respected. And meanwhile, the media pretends that none of this matters. And this is just the beginning. Because if this is what Trump's doing in month 6, imagine what year 2 is going to look like. By then, the global economy won't just be reacting to Trump. They'll be reshaped by Trump. The dollar, stronger. American energy, dominating. Foreign leaders, bending the knee. Not because they want to, none of them do, but because they have no choice. The weak leaders are being exposed right now, and the globalists are being rattled. And Donald Trump, he's just getting warmed up. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Make sure you subscribe, stay informed, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next time.